Hey guys, so I have been trying to film this video for like 2 weeks now, and I'm really hoping that this is actually the time where I will get to finish it. So first of all, if you're new here, hi, my name is Brittany. I am currently 30, almost 37 weeks with baby number 4. She is due September 24th. So what I'm doing today is going to be a pregnancy update, since it's been several weeks since I've updated y'all. It's been several weeks since I've actually put a video up in general, and I'm going to talk about that near the end, but I know a lot of you are just here for the pregnancy update, so I'm going to do that first and then we'll talk at the end. First, like I said, I am today, when I am filming this, I am 36 weeks and 5 days. I had it was supposed to be my 35/36 week appointment yesterday. So if you don't know, I live in southern Texas. I live in around the Houston area. Hurricane Laura was coming through. We didn't know if it was going to hit us or if it was going to turn or what it was going to do. And so we ended up leaving on Tuesday of last week, and so I had a doctor's appointment on Thursday. I ended up calling and pushing that to this past Monday. Today's Tuesday. To this past Monday, because we weren't sure what was going to happen, and so we did end up leaving. We went over to my parents' house. They live about an hour away, further inland. So my appointment yesterday ended up just being my 36-week appointment, and so I had an ultrasound. It was a growth scan, and they were just checking the fluids. Everything looked great. She's measuring actually a week ahead. According to their calculations, she's roughly 7 pounds 2 ounces, but I know that can be kind of off, so I'm not really holding on to that's how big she is. But she was measuring the size of her head, and her abdomen was measuring at 38 weeks. So that was a little encouraging though, because my doctor is not anticipating that I am going to make it to my due date. She has been, like I've said before, she's been extremely low this entire pregnancy, and her position is a little wonky because she has, whenever she did the ultrasound, she had one foot like up on this side and then another foot down by her head. And so she was basically doing the splits. I don't know, but this child's odd. I had been having some different pain that I hadn't experienced before, and so her position kind of explained that. It was kind of what I was thinking was going on. I actually ended up at labor and delivery a week ago this past Saturday because I was having such intense pain. It wasn't like contractions or anything. It was on my lower left side. I wasn't exactly 100% sure what it was, but it was excruciatingly painful. With my last pregnancy, it was not unusual for me to have pain near the very end, but this was very different, and I wasn't exactly sure what it was, and so it was a Saturday. I figured I would just go in anyway and just get checked out, that it couldn't hurt. So I ended up going up there, and they couldn't figure out what was going on. Everything looked fine. At that point, I was like 35 and a half weeks at that point, and at that point I was not dilated at all, and so they weren't concerned about that I was going into labor, which neither was I. And so what we've kind of determined, what I think that it is that she has got her foot wedged so far down, and she is pushing against some kind of a nerve or that round ligament that's down there or something, and it's causing a lot of pain, because it kind of correlates with when her foot is down there. Now, my doctor did say they did test my urine, and they found trace amounts of blood in my urine, so it could possibly be kidney stones. I don't think it's kidney stones, but we're just going to wait and see. She says if the pain intensifies, or if I have the baby and the pain is still there after she's born, then we'll kind of know, and we'll deal with it then. She also said if the pain got worse, to come in and they would put me on some kind of a medication, and they would do an ultrasound to try to figure out if it is kidney stones or not. So she has slowed down a little bit. Her movements are still very consistent. She's moving as much as she was before, but not as forcefully. And I think it's just she's running out of room. But her fluid levels look great on the ultrasound, so they're not concerned about that. She's just getting to be a big baby. And I think that's all I have about her. And so some of my symptoms that I've been having, I have had a lot more swelling lately, though we've been under a heat advisory for like 3 weeks straight. And so I think typically it's just the heat and if I'm on my feet for too long. And so I've been trying to be intentional about if I notice any swelling to kind of sit down and rest and take it easy. And it typically goes away pretty quickly. I have had a ton of pressure, just lower in my pelvis and I can feel it on my cervix. It's causing, the way that she's pressing down is causing cramping, which makes sense because whenever I had my doctor's appointment yesterday, she checked me and I was already at 3 and 50% effaced, which was shocking to me because when I was at the labor and delivery, almost a week prior to that, I was nothing. Apparently things are progressing pretty quickly, and so I'm not trying to make her come any faster. I really would like for her to wait until closer to 38 weeks because I just want her to be as fully developed. I want to make sure that her lungs are ready for her to be out. I don't want her to come any sooner. That being said, I am not modifying anything that I'm doing. I'm not super active. I'm active enough because I have kids and I have to do things, but I'm not super active. So I am continuing to do my exercising. I'm keeping with just walking a mile a day and doing my squats and things like that because it has really helped with my preventing that hip pain and that pelvis pain that I had in my last pregnancy. I really think the exercise is helping to keep that away. And so I'm going to keep on with that because my doctor did not tell me to modify anything that I'm doing. She said, it just looks like we're going to be having a baby sooner rather than later. She's okay with where I'm at. She's not worried about her coming too soon. She doesn't think I'm going to go into labor like today, but she is anticipating that I will probably go into labor around the same time I did with my daughter. That is a little shocking because I know that I'm far along. I know that I'll be 37 weeks on Thursday, but the fact that she could be here next week is kind of freaking me out. Not like a panicked, like I'm nervous about her being here, but just that like a mind-blowing, oh my goodness, she's gonna be here. We're gonna have a baby, and like we could have a baby in a week. And that's completely insane to me. Considering where I'm at and that I'm almost 37 weeks, I'm actually feeling really good. I've not had a tremendous amount of pain with the exception of that pain that I'm getting down in that area, which is not constant. It comes and goes. And especially, again, why I think it's a positional thing and just where she's positioned is because the days that I do my walking and my exercises, I don't have as much because she seems to shift position, and whenever I sleep with a pillow under my belly and it pushes her up a little bit, I don't feel that pain there either. So I really think it's just her position. But beyond that, I'm really not having very much pain. Occasionally my back will get a little achy. But end of pregnancy, that's expected. And I'll have to sit down more often than I normally would, but again, that's to be expected. So I'm feeling really good about all of that. So I've still not had any heartburn because this baby girl is just so low. She's just not even pushing on my lungs or my stomach very much. And so that's been fantastic. My sleep's been okay considering. I am still getting up several times in the night to pee. And I do notice still that stiffness in my hips when I first get up in the morning, and occasionally whenever I go to roll over in the middle of the night, I mean, every time I roll over I wake up, but whenever I go to roll over in the middle of the night, I'll notice that stiffness starting in my hips. But as long as I have the pillow between my legs and I keep my knees bent, it's not super bad, and so it's still very manageable. And like I said in my last video, just making sure to stretch whenever I get up, and walking first thing in the morning really helps a lot to get rid of that stiffness. As far as my anxiety that I have had, the medication increase absolutely did help a ton. I still have bouts of anxiety, but it's manageable anxiety. It's to the point that just through reading scripture and praying through it, I can get through it. And that's all that I wanted, was just to be able to get through it, because prenatal anxiety, if you've never had it, is not like normal anxiety. Because it's hormonal, it's just a whole different thing. So I'm really excited to have her here and to start working on balancing my hormones back out and start feeling normal emotionally again, and being able to get off the medication. I'm very excited about when we can do all of that. Oh, so surprisingly, I have not had as many contractions. So even though I'm progressing quite a bit, I have not had as many contractions as I was having before. I'll have one here and there, but still not a lot. But that's pretty average for me I have found with my babies that I've had naturally, that I haven't had to be induced for. I don't really have a lot of buildup. I normally don't have a lot of contractions for weeks or days on end. It normally is contractions. I'll have like a couple of days before, I'll have a little uptick, maybe a couple more contractions, but still not a whole lot, not enough to make me think that I'm in labor. And then day before, like whenever labor starts, then there you go. Like we start contractions, and my contractions just keep going until baby comes. So it's not that surprising that I'm not having a ton of contractions given where I'm at. I think it's just how my body works, and it doesn't do anything until it's time to do something. So the next video that I need to work on, that I'm going to try to work on this evening, I'm hoping it's going to probably go up next week, because I am probably going to slow down a little bit as we're getting closer to the end. And I've been having such a struggle keeping up on videos to just do a weekly video for right now. And so I think that's going to be coming out next, is what's in my labor bag, because I have finished packing. I think I have to go one more time and go through everything to make sure I have everything that I need, and then I'm going to do a hospital bag video. Hopefully this evening I can get it shot, and then we can get it up next week. And the only other thing would be labor. So I have gone so heavily back and forth on whether or not I want to do a medication-free birth. First I was, and then I wasn't, and now I'm kind of leaning more towards going without medication again, because I had a really hard time with my medication-free labor that I had for my second pregnancy, but there was also a lot of circumstances that were not ideal for me to be having a medication-free labor. And then with my third, I kind of chickened out because I got overwhelmed. And so I think that I'm in a much different space mentally and spiritually right now. And I think I could probably do it a lot better. So my plan is that I'm going to labor at home for as long as I can. I'm still going to go to the hospital pretty early because we are 45 minutes away, and I don't want to have a baby in a car, and my husband is very nervous about us having a baby in the car. So when it gets pretty intense, then we're going to go ahead and head that way. So if when we get to the hospital, if I'm fairly far along, if I've progressed fairly quickly, then I will probably not get an epidural. If I've not progressed that much, I'm going to still try to hold off and see if maybe, you know, things pick up sooner or how things are progressing at that point. And but if it does get to the point that it's getting super late, I'm feeling exhausted and worn out, and I absolutely have to rest, I will probably get one. But that I'm going to try really hard to only save that as an I am so exhausted that I can't do this anymore, because I do tend to labor overnight, and sometimes because the end of my pregnancies prior to this one have been fairly difficult. This one that's another reason why I think I might be able to, because this one has not been as challenging on me physically, and so I feel like I might be able to this time. But if I'm laboring overnight and I am not making good progress and I'm exhausted and I still am like at a 5 or something and it looks like I have a long way to go, then I may cave at that point. But I'm still really hopeful to go without it again this time. So I talked a lot longer than I expected to, so I'm going to just try to do this little last part really quick. So I have not been shooting any videos lately. Like I said, I've been trying, but every time I sit down to try to shoot a video, I have kids interrupting, them walking in needing something, and it's been very difficult, especially being very pregnant and not having a whole lot of energy to spare. So I have been really just kind of paring down and focusing on my kids and keeping the house up and my marriage and just prioritizing. But after talking it over with my husband and my best friend, I think that I'm just going to pare down for right now, and for the time being, while I'm finishing up this pregnancy and while we have a newborn, I'm going to just stick to only committing to one video a week and hoping to get more in here and there where I can, but only committing to one video a week, because I do very much enjoy doing this. I love interacting with y'all, and so I would like to continue to do this. Oh, and I completely forgot. So I'm going to go ahead, and if you stuck around this long, thank you. I'm going to go ahead and insert the belly footage. Like I said, right now she is very, very, very low. Her head is like way down there. It feels like I have a bowling ball between my legs, and I am definitely waddling a lot these days. Like I said, I am fully expecting to probably have a baby, hopefully within the next 2 weeks. I would like her to stay in another week at least. But if she wants to come in after that, I am completely happy with it. Like I said before, the next video that should be coming out will be my hospital bag video. I am going to shoot I'm in labor video to let y'all know that I am in labor whenever it happens. And I am going to try to get footage of the actual birth as much as I can. We'll just have to see how it goes. After that, I would like to start getting back into my homeschooling videos. I love doing that, and let me know in the comments if you enjoyed the vlogs that we were doing too, because I can't tell whether or not that's something that is of interest to anybody, or if I should just stick to my sit-down videos. So I would love to have some feedback on all of that. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and close this ridiculously long video. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, I hope you will consider subscribing, and I will see y'all next time. Bye.